guys, Mike here. So, well, what another day in the market, and yeah, it was definitely another roller coaster day to say the least. If you hadn't to be watching it, and we're not going to waste any time and just get right into this video because tomorrow we got what coming out? It's going to be CPI, that's headline and core. And the big thing about this one is, and I just did a whole members video on this, is the drop they're expecting in headline CPI, not core, and how this could really, it's going to create a lot more volatility. There's no doubt about that. When you look at this, again, the drop is like 2.6% versus the last one was 2.9. Before that was 3. So this is like the biggest drop I've seen them schedule out. When you look at core though, core is just expecting to come in as is, right? The projection's 3.2. The last one was 3.2. One before that was 3.3. So core has a very low bar to beat. Headline has a much higher bar to beat. And remember, they use this data to move the market where they want to move it, correct? And so when you look at this, obviously if you look at the S&P real quick, we didn't even hit the 50 today, but we're right below it, right? Just sitting here, here's this drama, and oh, we're gonna make it above the 50 or we're gonna get rejected, oh my goodness. But what you're looking for is, on this one, if we end up, let's say the data comes in as is or whatever, the market really starts to push, watch certain levels, right? So you're going to watch 5252 or 5222 on the S&P right there, and then 5550, so 5550. Okay, and that will be a big push up. Obviously, once we break that 50, we're definitely going to shoot up. And again, right there is going to come into a daily fair value gap. You should get a reaction because it's going to be up over % at that point in time. So you should get a reaction if we're going to end up going bullish in the morning, right? And then, of course, let's say the data comes in hot as can be or whatever it is. The market wants to move us down anyway. We end up, I'd say, watch 5443, 5443 first. That would bring us down into what? The rest of that daily fair value gap right there, which you should start to see a reaction to the upside off of. So, again, that would be about maybe 0.89% down. And we'll see where we're at when we get to 8:30, because obviously they're going to move where they want to in the futures overnight and stuff. So we'll see. As you saw today, just massive swings the market today. It was crazy. The price action was absolutely nuts this morning. But when you look at this, don't be surprised, as I show people with usually this first 15-minute candle, there's these big wicks. Okay, so don't be surprised. It's not Darth Vader, Darth Maul, or whatever they call that stupid sword he has, where it has like a laser on each end. Don't be surprised you see something like that. Because obviously you're taking out what? You're taking out the puts, the calls, all the stops in both directions, and you can see most likely you're going to see a move in both directions. Rarely they go just one way. And so don't be surprised you may see a drop, come down and grab liquidity, boom, shoot back up. Of course, it could be the opposite, obviously, where it just shoots up first or whatever, and then comes back down. Something like this could play out. So don't be surprised in either direction. And while I'm looking at this, I'm actually going to add one more level because I see this inverse fair value gap right here. And I'm like, don't be surprised on the way down around like 54.65 right there, if maybe you see a little bounce if we do decide to move down right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line right here as well. And so we'll look at those levels and see how they play out tomorrow. Now, one thing you might have noticed, a little house cleaning duty here, is the financials took a turn for the worse today, right? Down about over %. XLE obviously got the biggest hit on it. But what had happened was, and you really notice this, is JPMorgan, which makes up a big chunk of the XLF, got absolutely crushed today, as you can see right here. This is the biggest red candle it has had since 2020. It was down almost 8% on the day. I mean, you can pull back and just see, you don't see, you can see that candle from the moon, okay? And you don't see other candles like that. And what happened was, their CEO came out and basically threw water all over what the analysts were expecting. And basically what he said was the current NII consensus of $89.5 billion is not very reasonable in the light of interest rate forecast. He said, according to Bloomberg, this will be lower. And of course, well, market did not like that. So XFL took the brunt because it makes up a big percentage of that. So that was that one. Tesla, as you can see right here, obviously got up to that 50 moving average, got halted right there. Once again, though, it is above that ascending line, and it had a good day because basically it had two different things. It had a price target raise. That's always a good one, but this came out pre-market about the EU lowering tariffs and stuff, so it's just a news-related candle for Tesla today, obviously pushing it up. When you go back and look at it again, it's still sitting in what some people call a rising wedge, right? That's what it's in. That's the pattern it's in until it's proven guilty otherwise. And so, could it move up to the top of this pattern? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. If it breaks to the top, then it's out of the pattern. No doubt about that. So tomorrow having a lot to do with that probably. And again, if it breaks down below, because you saw that big red candle, where'd it stop? Right? It's all about a soap opera. It stopped right perfectly on that trend line. They knew if they let it drop, a lot of selling pressure was going to come in. They couldn't have that. So again, they held it right there. And then now it's starting to move up and just kind of creep its way back up. So we'll see what kind of day we have on this one if it does. So again, 235 is going to be the target again. The reason why it can move up there again, because again, we roll back, you're setting in this volume gap, right? Volume gaps are extremely powerful. You saw it move through it like a hot knot through butter. And then of course you saw it move down back through that volume gap. And so and it's getting right up to it again. So again, market goes green. And so if the market goes green tomorrow, boom. Right, go ahead and look for 235 once again. Red, you can see obviously there's another volume gap right below. So back down to that shaded area we go, which is what you can expect. And so that is Tesla for you. Now looking at Amazon, we can see held the 200, which is right below. It's not on the chart right now, but we did break back and break out. I think it to me is an official breakout in a way. I mean, again, you got the 50 there, so we're still in the shaded area. So we got the 50 and the 100 right above. If we can get through all of that, then definitely 187, 188 is in the cards for this thing. If it ends up breaking that down below that trend line, it's going to head down to that shaded area, which is going to be around 166, assuming it breaks the 200 on there. And so, this is one I've been telling you, there's a lot of people trying to play this one. A lot of people think they got more upside because even if the economy gets bad, they still have the cloud and everybody still orders off Amazon, right? It's not like these discount stores that are just getting absolutely crushed or going bankrupt, right? Now, somebody asked me about this yesterday, and they asked me what I was talking about when it comes to new members of the S&P index. Somebody sent this to me. Sorry, it's crooked, but you can see before the announcement, right at the announcement, and then you can see with inclusion, right? And so what's Palantir doing? It's running up, right? And then usually when things get included, then they usually sell off after that. It's kind of like a sell the news event type of day. And you can see right here, I mean, obviously we talked yesterday about retesting this trend line, and you can see it's exactly what it did today. And so it ended up coming in above that, making it into support, which it did, okay? And it has to, because if it loses it, then obviously there's that gap down below, and that's probably where it's heading to. So again, they got like 2 weeks until they actually hit the official inclusion. That's the 23rd, right? We're going into 9/11 tomorrow. Let me know in the comments where you were on 9/11. I remember where I was. And so, I didn't realize it was 9/11 tomorrow. I'm like, wow, get to hit the anniversary of that nightmarish day once again, right? But one thing I'll tell you this kind of headlines and stories that make me mad. Palantir Chairman Peter Thiel to sell up to $1 billion of stock. And you're like, oh my goodness, is he fixing to dump it? Well, he put out a filing and with using the 10b5-1 plan. But this can go on all the way through December 31st, 2025. And it's like, who cares if the man sells $1 billion in stock over the next, what would that be, like 16, 17 months? I mean, you got to be kidding me. And then it starts going through like all these people sold and stuff. Yes, they're going to make money. He's a billionaire for a reason, no doubt. But it makes it sound like he's going to sell them like this month or something like that, which is just crazy. So that's what they're talking about with that one. And then we had Taiwan Semiconductors here. They came out with the report. Usually they'll put out either monthly revenue or whatever it is. And you can see the revenue is going to be less than what it was previous month, or is less than it was previous month. But year over year, like 31%. And so, you look at that and you're like, all right, cool. And that did it affect the stock? Not really, because obviously all these semiconductors are getting crushed. Taiwan Semiconductors is no different. And when you look at this right here, you can see it's in this shaded area, which it's bounced before. And so we'll see, or been resistance before multiple times. So we'll see, because that's where it's bouncing right now. But obviously in a short-term downtrend, but it's like all these other stocks, right? What are we talking about? These triangles, these wedges, like it's just getting wedged in here, higher lows and then lower highs, okay? And so it's just getting wedged in there. And so until it sets a lower low, then it doesn't really matter, does it? So we'll see if the shaded area obviously comes in and plays. And so we'll see if this shaded area right here is going to end up being where the bottom is, and see if this thing turns up or not. But until you break out of this, basically pattern, then, all of it's for nothing, right? Now, again, Roblox, keep an eye on this. It keeps getting above the weekly and the monthly opens and everything. Keeps getting above the anchor VWAP, but it just doesn't have that explosive moves. It can't get above the yearly open and stay above it, right? It keeps popping its head out, popping its head out, popping its head out. So this is one we're watching because it just has So many things right there holding it down. The slingshot it up, and they don't have earnings to ruin it, right? And again, can it finally get out of stage 1, go into stage 2? That's the big thing, right? So that's why I'll keep you guys updated on this. It's the same way we kept talking about Tesla over and over and over, and finally it had that explosive move up to where we thought it would. So yeah, we'll see if this one does it or not. So anyway, guys, hope you got something out of it. Please hit the like and subscribe button for me. Really appreciate it as always. And I'll be here to report and see what happens on CPI tomorrow. Let me know your predictions in the comments. If you'd like to sign up for the membership, feel free to do so. Links down the bottom. You can see everything you get right there. And so anyway, hope you guys got some out of it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.